Are you ready to level up your English vocabulary with collocations? What are collocations? Collocations are two words that naturally go together, like two pieces of a puzzle. For example, we have been studying for a while. Do you want to take a study rest? Oh, that is so close, but we don't say study rest. We say study break. Rest and break mean almost the same thing, but we say study break. A study break is when you stop studying for a period of time, maybe to eat something or regain your focus. It is a study break. In this video, you are going to learn native level vocabulary about education. It's time to learn just what collocations are and 20 more collocations for education. And that starts now. Our first set of collocations include the word study. Remember study break? To study is what we do to learn something, either by reading, listening, writing, practicing, etc. And there are a lot of collocations that include the word study, so let's study some now. It's important to study hard if you want to get a good job. Study hard. We don't say study effort or study long, we say study hard. This means that we put a lot of time, effort, and focus into our studying. You aren't studying hard if you are watching TV at the same time or are checking out social media. It is important to study hard if you want to get a good job. What else can we add to the word study? I will write a study schedule so I can give equal attention to all of my subjects. Study schedule. A study schedule is a routine or a schedule that you follow for your school studies. For example, every Monday you study English, Tuesday is math, Wednesdays are for science. You get the idea, right? It's the schedule you follow so that you can stay disciplined and focused on your studies. Study schedule. I will write a study schedule so I can give equal attention to all of my subjects. Ready for the next one? My teacher gave me a study guide to help me prepare for the exam. Study guide. A study guide can be different from a textbook or your class notes. It's more of a focused collection of notes or information for the purpose of an exam. You can make your own study guide, or a teacher can give you one. Or maybe an older sibling who took the same class before can give you their old study guide. My teacher gave me a study guide to help me prepare for the exam. Next, one of my study habits is to listen to relaxing music. Study habit. A study habit is a part of your routine when you study. Maybe you study better at a library or in your room. Maybe you listen to music or you need complete silence. Do you eat snacks when you study? One of my study habits is to listen to relaxing music. Last one. It's my dream to study abroad in Europe. Study abroad. We don't say study out of the country or study in a different country. We say study abroad, and it means to study at a school in another country. Most of the time, your school and the school abroad have a partnership, a connection, and the schools exchange students for a period of time. It could be for an entire year, or half a year, or maybe even a few weeks. It's my dream to study abroad in Europe. Let's review. Study hard. Study schedule. Study guide. Study habit. Study abroad. Student. A student is a person who studies or learns. Here are collocations that include the word student. I was an exchange student in Japan. Exchange student. Remember the collocation, study abroad? Well, what do we call students that study abroad? That's right, an exchange student. The schools usually exchange students. Students go to your school, and in exchange, we take students. It's an exchange. I was an exchange student in Japan. Next one is, my dad is currently a part-time student at the university so he can earn a new degree. Part-time student. A part-time student is a student that is not taking a lot of classes. Maybe because they're working a job and going to class only a few days a week or at night. This is more common with working adults because they have jobs to work or families to take care of. A part-time student. My dad is currently a part-time student at the university so he can earn a new degree. Here's another. I quit my job so I can become a full-time student. Full-time student. A full-time student is a student that is taking a full course load of classes, normally 5 days a week and several classes per day. Because almost all children are full-time students, we don't call them full-time students. This collocation is used mostly when referring to adults. I quit my job so I can become a full-time student. Ready for another? During the pandemic, I was a remote student. Remote student. Remote students do what is called distance learning, and that is learning or studying from outside of the classroom. Remote students use video chat to communicate with teachers. They use online resources for doing assignments. During the pandemic, most students around the world were remote students, but there are still situations where it happens today. Maybe a student is really sick for a long period of time or badly injured. There can be a lot of reasons. During the pandemic, I was a remote student. You're doing great! You're learning collocations so quickly because you are a bright student. Bright student. We teachers avoid using words like smart, dumb, quick, and slow, especially when talking directly to our students or their parents. A bright student is a student that learns quickly and is often quite intelligent. They can do well in all their subjects, but also sometimes maybe in just one specific subject. Maybe you are a bright student in science or math. But soon, all of you watching my videos will be bright students in English. You are learning collocations so quickly because you are a bright student. Let's review. Exchange student. Part-time student. Full-time student. Remote student. Bright student. School. A school is a place of learning, and some schools are divided by age or grade. Some common collocations including the word school are, my daughter goes back to elementary school after summer holidays. Elementary school, also called primary school in some English-speaking countries. Elementary school. Students from grades 1 to 5th, or sometimes 6th, go to elementary school. It's after kindergarten and before our next collocation. My daughter goes back to elementary school after summer holiday. Here's another. I have to study for exams to get into my first choice secondary school. Secondary school. Secondary school is after elementary school. Some places of the world call grades 6th or 7th to 8th middle school or junior high school. Grades 9th to 12th are usually called high school. Secondary school is the term to use that refers to school after elementary school and before university. I have to study for exams to get into my first choice secondary school. Next one is, there are good public schools in this area. Public school. Schools that are funded and operated by the local government are called public schools. Public schools in the United States are free to parents and students. The money to operate public schools comes from taxes. I'm not gonna say which is better, public schools or the next collocation. That's for you to decide. There are good public schools in this area. Ready for another? Private schools are more expensive than public schools, but do have some advantages. Private school. Private schools are not funded by the local government, but by tuition fees. Tuition fees are paid by parents or family for the student to be able to attend that school. Private schools tend to have smaller classes so students can get more attention from the teachers. Private schools are more expensive than public schools, but do have some advantages. Let's keep going. In 1 week, I'm going off to boarding school. Boarding school. What are boarding schools? Boarding schools are schools where students live and study on campus. Students live in dormitories and have meals provided for them. Students are under the care of the teachers and staff. Most of the time, boarding schools are very expensive and also difficult to get accepted to. In 1 week, I'm going off to boarding school. Let's review. Elementary school, secondary school, public school, private school, boarding school. Education. Education is the process of teaching or learning, and some collocations that include education are: higher education is necessary if you want to get a job in medicine. Higher education. Higher education includes college, university, graduate school. Higher education comes after secondary school. This is where students mainly focus on their areas of study that are connected to their ambitions or career goals. Higher education is necessary if you want to get a job in medicine. Next one is, if you want to learn a trade, then vocational education is right for you. Vocational education. What is vocational education? It is sometimes called trade school. It's a school or institution where a student learns a specific trade or skill. How to be a plumber, a car mechanic, an electrician, nursing, graphic design, and many, many more. If you want to learn a trade, then vocational education is right for you. Here's another. What sports did you enjoy most in physical education? Physical education. Physical education, or PE for short, is a class that students in primary and secondary school take where they focus on physical activities and fitness. Running on a track, playing sports, exercising, all that sporty stuff. What sports did you enjoy most in physical education? Ready for another? Educational resources are becoming more advanced as technology advances. Educational resources. Educational resources include textbooks, maps, globes, calculators, protractors, computers, software, anything that aids in education. Educational resources are becoming more advanced as technology advances. Last one. The political candidate is running on his educational reform platform. Educational reform. First, what is reform? Reform means to change something to make it better. So, educational reform is the idea of improving education. This can include adding technology, using better textbooks, paying teachers a higher salary, understanding new findings in child psychology, etc. The political candidate is running on his educational reform platform. Let's review. Higher education. Vocational education. physical education, educational resources, educational reform. How many of these collocations are completely new for you? Let's see what you remember with a little quiz. Listen to the sentence and fill in the blank with the correct answer. Ready? Go. I went to an blank near my house when I was 6 years old. That's right, elementary school. There are a lot of blank from all over the world in my school. You got it, exchange students. I have to blank if I want to get into a good university. Ding, 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 study hard. It's important for students to have access to good blank, like computers and tablets. Oh, that's right, you know it, it's educational resources. I decided to become a blank by taking classes online instead of in a classroom. Perfect answer, remote student. Let's see how you did. I went to an elementary school when I was 6 years old. Elementary school is for younger children like 6 years old. There are a lot of exchange students from all over the world in my school. Exchange students come from other countries to study. I have to study hard if I want to get into a good university. Study hard means to study well and with great focus. It's important for students to have access to good educational resources like computers and tablets. Computers and tablets are educational resources. I decided to become a remote student by taking classes online instead of in a classroom. Classes where you use a computer and the internet instead of in a school make you a remote student. How did you do? Collocations are not easy. I'm sure with more practice, you will become a bright student. The more often you use collocations in your English, the easier they will be. I predict that you will get better and better. If you want to learn more about how to make predictions in native English, then this video is for you.